Ikaw si makakaalam yung mahal, ikaw nagdadrive.
Ano, ako makakaalam, nagpapaturo nga ako paano magmaneuver.
O yan, hindi tatama ka dyan, tatama ka. Kasi pa. Okay, practice mo ulit yun.
Sorry.
Mabati ka ng konti. Mabati ka na ng konti. Yan.
Ayan.
Ayan, sige. Ayan, nararamdaman mo na. Parang templado na eh, sige. Yan ang sinasabi ko.
Nakuha ko na. Sige.
Yan.
It's like they can't commercialize. Really gonna get up early and go somewhere. Say something. It's say something good to me. There ain't nobody better. Oh, baby, baby, we belong together.
Okay, hello vlog. So I'm reading currently Creep by Jennifer Hillier, and I got this recommendation from the psychological thrillers book group on Facebook, and I was like, okay, I read from Jennifer Hillier before and even had a recent book by her which I liked, and I'm like, she usually in her history she has never failed me, so I'm like, okay, let's give it a try. So I read the first page. In a second, something like around 5 minutes it felt to me. I was like, yeah, I like this, I'm gonna continue reading this. And it turns out I was already 20% in the book, so it really sucked me in, and now I am currently 61% through the book. And wow, okay, so what is this book about? It is basically about this psychology professor. She is a practicing psychologist, and also she's a teacher at university, so she has, like, you know, student teachers or teacher assistants, and she is actually having a sexual affair with her TA. Yes. So what bothers her is not the 19-year age gap, but rather she is already engaged to this man that she actually loves. Okay, and she wants to break it off with the TA, and she does. But unlucky for her, this TA is crazy, and he is a creep. Basically, why the title is Creep, and the things that he does, okay? And I'm not really gonna give any more details on that. Basically, that's the synopsis. All I'm saying is I'm enjoying it so far. And coming from the book that I just read, which is Submit, it is very interesting, okay? The guy here is a germaphobe, so he likes everything clean. Our main character has also these things that she wants to. She's an addict, okay? I'm not gonna tell you what kind of addiction she has, but yeah, so far loving it. Yeah, and this is a duology, so I feel like I'm gonna be finishing these books within the week. That's how much I am enjoying this book. Okay, so last night I finished Creep by Jennifer Hillier, and I'm giving it 4 stars because this crime fiction is really good. Okay, I mean, Jennifer Hillier, you really can't go wrong with this author, especially if you're looking for that crime, mystery, what's going on. Like, it gets dark to the point that but it's not dark as in, like, exposing it on the page, the gore, the blood and all that. It's not that kind of horror. It's more of the anticipation of the bad things that's gonna happen. That's how she gets you. And I really enjoyed the action scenes. They weren't drawn out too much for me to lose attention on it. She's really good at giving you hints as to what's gonna happen, and then when it does happen, you feel sort of like vindicated in a way. Even if that's the direction she wants you to go. I mean, I think she knows how to redirect you or misdirect you in the right way. So yeah, to the very end, good story. And I have already started Freak by her, and this, I had speculations about who the freak could be, and I was wrong. because apparently Freak is an entirely new person. Or, you know, I've only read the first chapter, so I'm not sure if there would be like some callbacks or something to the previous book. Yeah, but yeah. So Creep was published in 2011. Freak was published in 2012, and these were her first works. Okay, I'm actually almost done with her backlist. I only have The Butcher left. Is that right? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, so I am quite excited to finish my Jennifer Hillier journey. Okay, Gab Gab will try to go to church with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be behaved, boy, okay? You gotta be behaved.
Okay?
You gotta be behaved, boy. Okay, hi. Good morning. It is 6:30 in the morning. I woke up early. Yay me. Like 4:30 I woke up. Kids are still sleeping, obviously. And I am in the middle of Freak. And boy, this book. Okay. I am, I don't know, 40% through. And, okay, here's the thing. Usually books with a sequel tend to bore me out of my mind in the first part. Like the first quarter, first half. Especially if if the author decides to create or try to pick up where things left off from the first book. Like, so the ending of the first book continued in the second book, right? That's typically how it goes. But what Jennifer Hillier did, like chapter 1 is entirely a different person, a different story, you think. And then you kind of read through the chapters and then you find out what happened. Like, she knew that the details, that what could have happened, like that span, I think it's a year between these two books. She knew that the details in between would be boring, not interesting, so she saved the readers from having to go through that. Just kept it in her brain, and then as she was writing the second book, she's like, oh yeah, okay, let's explain it in this short paragraph what happened with that. And I'm loving it. Plus, Freak seems to have a better, more interesting, like almost more high stakes story. We are following more closely. I mean, this serial killer is more flaunting the killings that they're doing. Yeah. Okay, so they're watching their show. It's already afternoon. Fed them after bathing them. I cleaned up a bit already in this state. Yeah. So I asked them to rest for now. Okay, why am I blabbing? What I want to say is I actually read a short story collection on Amazon. It's called the Shivers collection, and this is like a series, 5 books of short or like horror novellas. So what I liked was the first one. The first one was called Jackknife. Okay, love that one. It's by Joe Hill. And I was like, while reading the story, I was like, ooh, this kind of writing sounds familiar. Even the elements of the story, sort of reminiscent to Stephen King. And then I look into Joe Hill, and he is Stephen King's son. Okay, and the last book in the series. So the first and the last books are by Stephen King's sons. The last story is called Letter Slot by Owen King, and this book was my favorite of them all. I gave it 5 stars. So I gave Jackknife 4 stars. And Jackknife is about, basically this man has some troubles in life, like a crisis. Then he sees this tree near the Airbnb he's been staying at. And he sees a jackknife on it. And he sees under the jackknife it is encrypted or carved into the tree, don't touch. And we all know what happens when you tell someone to not touch something, right? So there's that. Letter Slot. Okay, I like how this story rounded up really nicely. Okay, it's about a main character, a teen boy. His mother is sick, working too many jobs, and he sort of does this writing exercise at school, just like a wishful kind of letter that they don't even have to turn it in. He just needs to write it down. And he just had this idea to walk around this dilapidated area of their town and slip the letter into one of the houses that are abandoned. Okay, this abandoned house. And surprisingly, someone replies to his story. I mean, his letter. And this person who replies to his letter gives him like sort of like an exchange. Okay, give me a name and I'll give you the luck you need. Like whatever you need, I'm gonna provide it to you. Just give me a name. Yeah, so I like that one. The second one I read actually is Night and Day in Misery by Catriona Ward. And this one is about a mother. Okay, at first you don't know what's going on. I don't like Catriona Ward's style of writing, but I might have to check her longer works. But so far with the novella, not entirely my favorite. Okay, so basically there's a mom and she goes to this area, this hotel, wherein a year ago her husband and her son have passed, and then that's it. The blanks, this one by Grady Hendrix is very okay, creature feature. This, it seems like, you know, there is a physical entity that is haunting this like summer place, and once you have it, I mean, once that creature sets his eyes upon you and you look at it, it's, things are gonna go down. And the things that we're also focusing on the mother's perspective here, and it's just the resignation of that story makes me not like it as much. But I know it's a deeper metaphor for something else. That creature is a deeper metaphor for something else that I won't exactly say. And the Indigo Room. Okay, the Indigo Room is also about a mother, but this one is sort of not exactly. I mean, it's sort of predictable. The ending leaves you wanting for more, but also it's so bleak that you kind of forgive it in a way. Yeah, so none of these books are bad. That's what I'm saying. All of them are like good, and I'm just ranking them based on my enjoyment. So yeah. Hello vlog. So I have finished Freak by Jennifer Hillier, and look at the case. I've waited like a week and a half for this to arrive. And I don't usually use flip cases, but I found one with this strap, though I really wish this was on the right side. It's so hard to talk about this book because, like I said, it's a mystery, can't really discuss, but I do like how the characters are so well written. Like, you would root for all of them. And even the bad guy, like, you don't root for the bad guy, but you kind of understand where they're coming from, which I liked. And especially towards like the 60% part, when you get to the 60% part, it like flies. Everything happens so fast. Anything else I want to say about Freak? Yeah, I can't really say much about it because aside from that, it's a mystery thriller, right? It is also, it's also a sequel, so I can't really talk much about it except that I liked it. It's a few notches higher than Creep, so this is one of the wonderful moments when the second book is actually better than the first book, in my opinion. So this entire vlog is all about the like scary, horror, dark stuff. I guess I'm going to be reading more light stuff on the next video, probably, because I'm kind of over with the killing at the moment. So that is all, and I'll see you in the next video.